My name is Tony Yang. I use he, him, and they, them pronouns. I identify as a gender fluid person, and I am a model. In my work, it's very fluid. I love crossing the gender binary boundaries. I love doing femwear, and I love doing mask wear. And for me, I'm just like, clothes is clothes. And there's a time where I hope that there's gonna be a time where anybody could wear what they want, and we don't identify as femme or masculine, where clothes is just clothes. Wear what you want. And for me, that's really, really important because clothes, it's an expression of yourself. Looking at my story, I started modeling because when I was a kid, I was the fat kid and I got made fun of a lot. People always made fun of me. People always like pointing out all the little fat pieces on my body. For you to know how fat I was, in the 4th grade, I was 180 pounds. And by the 6th grade, I was well over 200 pounds. I would tell people that I wanted to model. And then of course, like, you know, kids are mean and people will make fun of you. But then even then growing up into like college years, like some of my best friends would make fun of me when I would try to take cute pictures and try to just like, you know, do like your modeling face or whatever. But then, you know, a huge part of me wanted to prove them wrong that anybody can do this regardless of how you look or where you come from. So I started my modeling journey about 2 years ago and I am here now. What motivated me to pursue my craft was that I really didn't see a ton of people that looked like me or that would represent a person like me. You don't see a ton of gender fluid or gender non-binary folks out there. And even if they are, you tend to see them in drag. That's an art form that I am very much not good at. But in terms of like the traditional modeling, you don't see a lot of fluidity in terms of like gender dynamics. You also don't see people that are bald like me. Have a version of alopecia, and I started losing my hair at the age of 20. I'm 31 now, but 10 years ago, a lot of my hair just kind of fell out. And you don't see people talking about that, or you don't see a person like us or like me represented on like a magazine or on a runway. So what motivates me is to be that person because I got tired of waiting for somebody to show up. I want to inspire people that doesn't fit the standard beauty norms to go out there and to showcase that beauty comes in all shapes, sizes, color, hair, whatever, skin type. Everything is beautiful and that people are too, regardless of where you're from or whatever your background is. You can become a model because you want to. And, you know, like I know for me, I kept waiting for somebody who looked like me, who represented me to be on a runway or to show up on a magazine. But I never saw that. So I decided that I needed to be what I wanted to see. So I had to take that step out. So that's why it's important to me, for me, because I know that out there somebody else is watching who might look like me, who might have had the same experiences as me, that wants, you know, wants to be shown that it could be done. When I first began modeling, the first challenge I faced was not knowing what to do or who to even go talk to. There's so many perceptions of modeling, of how to get into modeling, of what to do to get into modeling, or even like a type of look that you need to have to get into modeling. So it was just, I didn't know people. I didn't know who to go to, where to go to. I've heard of like agencies. I'm still not signed to one, but at the time when I started, it was just like, what's an agency? What do you do? So I ended up reaching out to a ton of different people on like Facebook, Instagram. A few people that I knew became models, so I reached out to them to figure out what they were doing, how they got to where they are, and that's really how I started. With my process, I always like to know what type of look I'm gonna get into. Or even if I don't have a look, I like to know like what type of shoot am I gonna do? Is it gonna be like an editorial? Is it gonna be like portrait? Am I gonna do like, commercial, like smiling, being happy? Or if it's gonna be like more couture, whatever. I like to know like the theme of it or the type. And it's easier for me once I know the type. Or the other part that also really helps me is the type of wear or the gear that I'm gonna wear. Because in modeling, we wear black a lot. We wear black to every casting because that's very neutral, but it's different if you're on a runway and you have a particular look. You really start to embody the character of your look. So it feels a little bit like acting sometimes, where like the more you know about the character that you're embodying, you start to become that. I think the piece that really sets my craft apart from a lot of different people in my industry is the fluidity in terms of how I can work. As I mentioned, like I identify as a gender fluid person. So I can do femme wear, I could do masculine wear, I could do like everything in between. And I don't think a lot of models can do that. And I also don't think that a lot of the industry is ready for that yet. When you put a man in a dress, people flip out. Or like if you put a more femme person in a more masculine, even like type suit, people like flip out. So anybody who can become more fluid in their art, I think you are much more marketable. And you could just adapt so much better whether you're on the runway or you're doing different types of shoot. Being a bald person, I wear wigs, I wear hair. If I put on a wig, I look like a completely different person. You wouldn't even know that it was me in two different shoots. And I don't think a lot of people can do that. Future goals. Oh my gosh, I haven't thought about that all that much. But I feel like this is very cliche because I feel like a lot of models want this, where it's like to get on Vogue, Elle magazine, like all the big stuff, or like walk in like New York Fashion Week. I was invited though. Or like to go to like Paris or like Milan, or like to get to the European circuit. I feel like that's very cliche, but I do want to do that because for me, again, it shows that it can be done with somebody that doesn't fit the beauty standard or like the beauty norms. Like you could look anyway and still make it, whatever make it means. With anybody that wants to do modeling, become comfortable with judgment. With models, people are always judging you based on how you look. And sometimes it's really hard to not take that personally. And it's very easy to take that personally because, you're in front of the camera, you look great, but anybody that walks down the street could nitpick anything and everything about your body. For example, on one of my TikTok videos, somebody literally just, for some reason, commented that they know so many people that are so much better looking than I am. And I'm just like, great, that's fine. Yes. So people are always gonna like comment on your looks, but just keep in mind that it's more about just your looks. It's about your attitude. It's about the different personas that you can bring. It's about your work ethics. And you're also like, are you likable and are you easy to work with? Because you could be like the hottest person ever, but if you're mean and rude, like nobody's gonna wanna work with you. Or somebody might work with you once or twice, and then you create a reputation that you're a really difficult person to work with, then nobody wants to work with you because the world can be pretty small and people know each other, so they'll talk. But the big thing is just be comfortable with people nitpicking your body, but also know that you are more than just your body. You are even more than just the craft and what you can bring. Like you're a whole person.